Back in latter part of 2017, I considered leaving Mt.Gilead. At the time, I had just ended a relationship, so I actually connected with a friend of mine, and she referred me to her church. Upon visiting her church, I could not receive from the bishop. I was not comfortable, nor was my kids comfortable at the church. So they asked us to raise our hand if we was a first-time visitor. So I raised my hand to get the information card we had to fill out for it to go in the tithes and offering bucket. Now, I received the card. My daughter asked to see the card. I gave it to her. I didn't think anything of it. But while the tithes and offering bucket was close to us, I just glanced at her and she filled out the card completely. And at the top of the card, it says, "I like this church, but it's not better than my church." And it had 6 exclamation points. I came back to Mt.Gilead, and the first week I came back to Mt.Gilead, I noticed John.
I had been in and out of a few relationships. One had lasted 3 to 4 years. So I remember, going home, and I got down on my knees. I was crying out to God. I said, "Lord, this is it for me. I don't want to date no more. I don't want to be in any more relationships." Just crying out to God and say, "You have to bring me my wife. And when you bring her to me, I want to be able to recognize her." When Brother Harry introduced me to Mary, once she opened her mouth, I knew something was special about her. And so I went home and prayed about everything and asked God, what was that? And He's told me that was my wife. And so, we dated for a period of time, for probably about 6 months or so.
We enrolled into the marriage readiness course, and we experienced some challenges where the devil started to steal everything that he could. He tried. And from there, we kind of went our separate ways for maybe a few days until God brought forth more revelation.
After a message Bishop had preached, I stayed in my car for another 30 minutes outside, realizing that just because there are difficulties, you're experiencing them, that don't mean that's still not your soulmate. And at that time, I said, "Okay, God, I'm going to talk to Bishop." So I went up to talk to Bishop. I got in line, and I came up and I told Bishop, I said, God has revealed to me that a certain daughter here is my wife. However, I kind of messed it up. I said a few things, there was a few red flags, and now she don't want to talk to me. He asked me what was the red flags. I explained it to him, and he said to me, "This is what I want you to do. I want you to set up an immediate meeting with assistant pastor." I said, "Yes, I would do that, Bishop, but she don't want to do anything." He said, "You tell her that I said to go with you to this meeting, and in that meeting, you will know which direction you should go." We set up that meeting, and sure enough, the enemy was still trying to start off a little rocky in the beginning, but God moved mightily. Mightily.
So I remember, being the next day, my birthday, he came up my job, and it was just so surprising. He came up my job, and he had my co-workers, he had them rearrange, get me outside of my office, and brought me into this garden area where I thought we was trying to have an intervention for a co-worker. Needless to say, it was actually my proposal. We would not be one if it was not for Bishop, if it was not for a co-pastor, if it was not for assistant pastor and minister Audrey.
They love each other, and they love God, and they love the people. And I'm just grateful that God has given me this opportunity to sit and to, absorb and to serve under this ministry. And I thank Bishop and co-pastors for giving me this opportunity